the big three last night: LeBron, Austin, Luka. Absolutely fantastic. 99 points combined. LeBron 25, 6 and 6. Luka just 43, 9 and 13. Good Lord. Austin Reeves 31, 9 and 3. Jovan, let's start with you. What are we seeing from the synergy now, 3 games in, between the Lakers' big three of Austin, LeBron, and Luka?
They just come at you in waves. And I thought that was really the story last night, where we know Luka, his first quarter numbers are well established. Like, he dominates first quarters and likes to set a tone where Luka, the scorer, then unlocks everything else offensively for his teams, because then it becomes Luka, the playmaker. And we saw, especially in that fourth quarter, the Clippers were just selling out, trapping and blitzing him. And they were reluctant to do that consistently. They were really fighting hard to get around screens or even to switch them. And then eventually just became, well, we're going to have to get the ball out of Luka's hands. And that created those 4-on-3 and 3-on-2 opportunities. So I think last night was, for me, the blueprint of how this group could play moving forward. I still think there are wrinkles that they can unlock in terms of the actual like 3-man game between those three. I don't think that is fully developed yet. And even seeing some of their stack actions or 3-man actions in the middle of the floor, like horn sets and stuff, they're still like a little clunky by where I think it could be. But I think in terms of each guy getting a segment, like again, Luka had the first quarter and really the first half, because he scored 32 of his 43 in the first half. And then you have LeBron, I thought, started to be as aggressive as we've seen him up to this point in the season in that third quarter, getting downhill and testing Ivica Zubac's foot speed and looking more comfortable attacking him off the dribble and getting, he had several left side finishes. And then you had Austin with the 18 in the fourth. So I thought it was, there was like a patience with Austin and LeBron in terms of like letting Luka cook, and then those guys being more selective with when they attacked. But I think there's still like levels to that they could get to even higher in terms of like the actual fit with those guys. Like Luka, still developing that with LeBron, and I think he and Austin have obviously the offensive rating has been great when those two are on the floor together. But like LeBron and Austin have the institutional knowledge of playing together now for 5 seasons, so they have that 2-man chemistry down, and I think we saw that in the fourth. But I think it still can get even better, which is the crazy thing. Like, I thought last night everybody shot the ball well, and they each had their solos, right? Kind of like our show, but I still think like the 3-man chemistry could be even better.
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using code HMA. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
Jason, where are you at? We're going to start getting the big three analogies coming in the chat now. Jason, where are you at with the three of them together? I am noticing, I'm just digging into some of the on-off numbers here. Luka, LeBron, Austin on the floor together are actually a -13 so far on the season. Is that cause for concern at all?
So that was mainly driven by the Jazz game. They were dominant when the three of them were on the floor together against the Clippers yesterday. I don't have the number in front of me, but it was like +16 net against the Clippers. So, predictably, when you have a stretch like the tail end of the game against Utah, where they give up a quick, whatever that was, like 9-0 run where they damn near lost against Utah, that's going to skew some numbers. And then obviously the starting group getting off to such a bad start. But they looked much better against the Clippers. To me, when you look at the what did they combine for? 99 points yesterday, if I remember correctly. So Luka and Austin, just kind of take them and set them to the side for a second, because a certain amount of that has been stuff we've discussed to death to start the season. The two of them have just been awesome. And like Austin, I thought had one of his best games of the season yesterday on both ends of the floor, super intense on defense, and then was just really attacking Zubac's downhill and pick and roll in the second half, which was causing some serious problems for the Clippers. Luka, just the usual dominance mixed in with now having his step back three going. That's how he's going to get into his, mid-40s types of scoring games. The interesting thing to me is LeBron had 25. And what stood out the most to me is that 25 almost entirely came in a couple of like designed plays for him, and then him attacking off an advantage. One of the things that I've noticed, and this has been part of what has allowed Luka and Austin to stay in such a great rhythm while LeBron has been rejoining the team, is when they get into just their kind of like flow basketball, meaning like they're not running a set, but like the first action didn't work and now we're just playing. LeBron's not taking many of those possessions. He's had a few of them, but for the most part, he's pitching it to Austin and he's going to the weak side and he's operating as a spacer. He's allowing those guys to kind of operate more of that natural flow of the game. And then he's being super aggressive in these very specific spots in what appears to be like designed plays run by JJ. And so a couple of examples from what we saw yesterday. We saw quite a bit of LeBron Jackson pick and roll, but for the most part, it was ran out of a designed action. They kept running this action where LeBron would basically catch at the left elbow extended in a triple threat, not at the three-point line, but rather inside the three-point line. Jackson would set a weak side flare screen for Austin, and then he would run over into the ball screen. LeBron came off of one, hit a soft switch jump shot against Zubac at the left elbow, then another one where he kind of dragged him a little bit further through the lane and knocked down a kind of a drifting jump shot over his left shoulder. He had they had another kind of action where it was like essentially a weak side flare screen that operated like a pick and roll that was designed play. LeBron attacks down the angle. That's when he hit the little left-handed bank shot over Zubac at the basket. They ran a couple of those textbook off-ball sets that they've been running throughout the season. So that one that we keep seeing Jake LaRavia get buckets on, where he runs up and sets a back screen, the switch, has inside position, slips to the basket. LeBron got an and one on a play just like that at the tail end of the third quarter, where he set the back screen, got the switch, inside seal, pitched it, drove into the basket, and got the and one layup early in the game. They had a play where he set, is very reminiscent of, if you guys watched that Houston-Orlando game where Şengün got the left shoulder hook that tied the game at the buzzer, where Şengün operated as a screener to trick everybody into thinking he's screening, and then he just quick turned and sealed. LeBron had a very similar play where he set like kind of a screen on the baseline, quick turn and sealed. They fronted him. Luka threw a beautiful over-the-top pass. He got an and one layup. These are all buckets that he was getting like in designed actions that JJ is calling. Essentially like, all right, LeBron, you attack here. Whereas if they're ever in the flow, he's just deferring